All right, well, here we are. Scott's going to be along in a second. He's trying to get himself off the Bluetooth speaker. He was letting the whole hotel know what we're doing. Hello, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving week. It's Andy Lindahl, and soon will be Scott Hastings. As I adjust my screen a little bit, they were giving me a hard time. I help out with a class at Rock Canyon High School, and they were telling me too much headroom. I'm not a professional. I'm not a professional TV guy. But anyway, if I've got any crossover viewers from the Mammoth one, thank you for jumping on. But yeah, so we're doing a little bit early tonight with Hastings and Lindahl because tomorrow night we didn't really think about it. They'll be playing a basketball game when we usually go, and then Scott's got to get back on the plane. He's coming home. He's trying to do a turkey. He's got the whole thing going. So yeah, we gotta do that thing. And here's my man now. Here he is. So we'll get ready to add him to the stage once I see that he's ready there. But yeah, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I will tell you, we used to call this the Zoo Crew Redo podcast. And then Scotty and I kind of decided that we would, go ahead and rename the thing. We may need rename it one more time. Apparently there's a lot of hot mics, but I'm not ready to do that just yet. There he is. I think my guy's good to go. How we feeling there, Bubba? We all right?
Good. I had you on Bluetooth, and I didn't know if you're going to get feedback on it.
It didn't sound bad, to be honest with you. Now your mic's a little crisper this way, but you didn't sound bad. So anyway,
all right. You're interrupting. I've just invested an hour and a half in a Hallmark Christmas movie, and now look what I'm sacrificing for the people.
I know. Now you got to wait to see if she actually gets with the guy, which she always does.
Well, she's got a bad boss, and they got a quaint little town. The boss is about ready to come in and swoop in and buy all this land and put big buildings up, and they want to keep it quaint, the sanctuary for wild animals and blah, blah, blah. So it's starting to boil to a head.
Yeah, the guy's ridiculously handsome. She's probably...
Oh, you must see. She's hot, and look at him.
Yeah.
No. He's like, you know what? He's a young Andy Lindahl.
Yeah. Hot. That was the word used around Andy Lindahl.
Well, I'd say rugged. Did you ever walk around with a 5 o'clock shadow because it made you look cooler?
No, you know what I did? You remember, because I had it when I first met you. I did the goatee thing for a while because that was like the hot hockey deal in the mid to late 90s. Now, not like that. I didn't have that kind of length, but we all had our goatee phase there for a minute, right? The Scott Parker, Scott Stevens of the New Jersey Devil kind of thing. Stink had one. Remember, Stink might. I haven't seen Stink in so long. I don't know if he has one or not.
He still has one. It's turning gray on the chin.
Well, we all get old, Scott. Father Time loses no battle. You know what's on now if you wanted to watch it on Paramount Network is Scrooged. That's coming on, which is kind of funny. I kind of like Scrooged.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
You know what? I was about to tell the story. We're going to talk some sports, folks, but if you know us, and we'll get there. I used to love Thanksgiving week on the zoo. Now, I didn't always love having to put the best ofs together, but one of my favorite times, I'll just tell this quick story because I got the mic. One of my favorite times that gave me the power of radio. I think I've told you this in the past, but we were doing a bit. And it was Patrick Watkins doing his famous character, Chick McGillicuddy. And Chick was in there talking about his Thanksgiving dinner. And do you remember when he talked about how he was going to take a Boboli pie shell and shove pumpkin pie filling on it? And we're all laughing. Every time he did Chick, we were always crying. And he was just so funny. Patrick was so talented. He just could come up with the dumbest shit at the drop of a hat. And we're all rolling. I'm laughing in the control room. You guys are laughing on air, and he talked about putting peanut butter in the dog's mouth or something like that too. And I mean, We're just all having a great laugh. And some dude calls me and I pick up the phone. We're not really taking calls, although on that show, we kind of always would take calls. Some guy calls me and he just starts laughing. He's still laughing, but he goes, you know what, man? You guys are the only voices I hear sometimes. You like my friends. Thank you so much for the hearty laughs. Because we had it was one of those, it was that special fall that you and I had where I think we kind of really knew what we could do. and Stink was with us a bit. It was '01, I want to say, because that's when Stink retired or something like that. But maybe it was 2000. Anyway, this guy just
We
was
had
like,
the 5 minute coffee break at
you had your coffee break, and remember
6
Rick
o'clock.
Riley came in and sat with you guys, but the guy was just like, the laughs just mean so much, and I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for you guys, and I hope you guys all know that I mean it. Have a happy Thanksgiving. And it just was like, that's the power of what we can do sometimes, right?
Yep, yep. And we'd all meet up at Goose Poop Park, named
Right.
appropriately because we get there for one of our Thursday turkey bowls, and there's about 5,000 geese sitting on that football field, and it was just pooped over. So
We called it goose
kids,
poop field because anybody that had aerated, if you've ever aerated your lawn, that's how much goose poop was on
yeah,
the school off of
like the
Bellevue and
fairways in a
Holly.
like a fairways in a golf course. In fact, I think some of us thought it had been aerated, and we go,
Yeah.
no,
No, no, that's poop.
yeah,
We tried to play tackle one year, and I'm like, I didn't get tackled in the goose poop.
yeah.
No.
So that became Goose Poop. We call it Goose Poop Park for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was always goose poop there. That's the only time I got to play basketball with you. I don't think I've ever actually played basketball in a gym with you, but we did play. Remember they had the hoops there? Because it was I can't even remember the name of the damn middle school, but we used to
It's
play
the
hoops
middle
there.
school right there up Holly
Bellevue
and
and Holly.
Hellview and Holly, yeah.
There's a
Whatever that
block
middle
from the
school.
station. So Jason Luber would play there. I'm trying to remember Patrick, obviously.
I tell you what, I will say this, and I've always, and I think you've tried to do the same thing. Here's a little inside radio. This is probably more like the Zoo Crew redo, if you will. But we had a tight knit group, and we all kind of felt like we were each other's family members as far as a radio or a team. And I mean, Dave played football, and I played basketball and everything else. You played lacrosse, and it was a bunch of guys, and we kind of fashioned around whether it was Ashley Saracen or Mark or Patrick or Jason. I mean,
Matt
Jason had
Meehan,
sort of Meehan, and then
Donnie,
we show
Don
up.
Martin.
You remember the late nights we show up at KOA like at 9 o'clock. Business is closed, and we go down the basement. They have this big
TV.
conference room like set up with TVs, and we'd have 6 of us playing on 2 different Xboxes that were linked together, and we'd sit there and play Halo. All of us right there in that room till gosh, we'd get there at 9, play till 2 o'clock in the morning sometime.
Oh, it would get nutty. And then I always love telling the story because Watkins and I cooked up. We're gonna make Logan. We do a Christmas party every year. So Logan stopped by to do the Christmas party that one year in the conference room. And because you guys always took care of us, you were always kind to us at Christmas, a little bit of money in the pocket, and we'd have a little dinner and some drinks. And you were always buying us lunch anyway. But it was funny because Watkins and I were like, we're gonna get Logan with Madden. And we played Madden thinking he would suck at it. And we could finally be better than Dave Logan at something. And damn it, if it didn't take him a quarter and he's working us with the stairs, like, this guy even's good at Madden. You suck. I was so mad. I was so mad. I'm like, I'm finally going to, because I used to torture Stink with it. I would play Schler. I literally made Schler throw a controller one time. He got so pissed off playing me in Madden because it was like Madden 2000. We were in my first house, that tiny little basement in the bottom.
Yeah,
so we're sitting down there, and there was a glitch play. There was a glitch play you could run where the guy would run like a deep post and nobody would cover him. It was a tight end. And there was like a glitch where there was, no matter the damn defense, you couldn't cover him. And I kept letting Stink sack me with Favre and I can't even remember that, Chamora or whoever. And I kept throwing this pass. It was like 4th and 30, 4th and 40. And I kept hitting this damn pass because he couldn't cover the damn tight end. And he's like, this isn't real football. He got mad. He chucked it. So I thought I'd do the same thing to Logan. And stupid ass Logan's beating us by the second half, man. Worked both me and Patrick. God, I was so mad. So mad.
One year I played the Broncos, and it might have been the same, and I didn't know it was a glitch play, but it no matter where I was, it was McCaffrey because I'd always play the Broncos, would always run out and he'd start from right to left. He'd always go, he'd end up left, and you just wing it. You'd hit his number. You knew it was Y. You hit Y, and he made. I don't know if maybe 1 out of 100 times that ball not pick up a first down, whether it was 4th and 20 or 4th and 30, and usually it ended in a touchdown.
He always caught it. Ed always caught it on those games. I just saw a story about Christian McCaffrey. I think they're going to show it this weekend. Talking about how he used to play as Ed on the video game, and now, of course, he's the cover guy of Madden this year. So finally bought Hayden Madden. By the way,
so the cover of Madden, and he's been hurt all year.
The curse continues. The curse continues. So, anyway, are you going to watch? Do you watch Planes, Trains, and Automobiles? We watch that every year. I saw the coolest story, and I meant to share the tweet with you, but I one day kind of want to see the director's cut of it. They told a story about how Steve Martin was just, I'm going to try not to choke up because Martin was so intense about this story, but he showed everybody the script of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And he was just talking about how much he misses John Candy and how much they truly loved each other and had fun shooting the film together and all that stuff. And of course, there's the famous rental car scene where he drops 17 F-bombs and all that. But he said that there was a scene they cut from the movie. You remember at the end in the train station where they get off and Steve Martin continues on his way home and Del Griffith goes into Candy's character goes into Del Griffith goes in and sits on goes into the train station or whatever. Martin said in the scene, all they'd say in the movie was about how Del, my wife's dead and I've been home for 8 years and blah, blah, blah. Martin showed the script where there was like this whole speech about how Del got there, how the wife died, and they cut it all from the film. And he's kind of mad about it. He's like, I still don't understand why we cut this scene. He said he was crying just filming it with Candy because he was so in character about it. So wow. I asked this to Nate, and Nate doesn't always go along with my movie ideas. Sometimes he does. Is there even another Thanksgiving movie? I'm trying to think like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is about Thanksgiving. Is there another Thanksgiving movie out there? Like there was I've seen a movie. I can't remember. It was like, I don't know. The guy, Michael Douglas's daughter got kidnapped or something. And she was like, it begins and they're watching the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade in the apartment. But that's it. I mean, the rest of the movie is trying to get his daughter back. It happens around Thanksgiving, but it's not a Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah. You know what? You had Christmas Vacation, and then, or you had Vacation. What was the first one called just Vacation?
Yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation, I think, or something like that.
Vacation, European Vacation, Christmas Vacation, Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, and it seemed like the original, I've always felt like that was more of a Thanksgiving, but it wasn't because they were going to Wally's World.
It was a summer road trip, baby.
Yeah. Christmas Vacation is a must watch every year. We watch Nightmare Before Christmas, always for Christmas. And actually, we've already watched it. Yeah, I don't know of any good Thanksgiving. I got a million Christmas ones that are must watch. We've already started hitting a few of the must watch ones.
Yeah, so we'll watch every year. We watch Planes, Train. My daughter now loves Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, so I'll watch it. It it does make me, there's a lot of great scenes. First one, come out sideways, and all that hillbilly that comes to pick him up. But
I spent a bunch of time this summer in Oklahoma. My brother was down there. We were building my dad a new house, and they were getting all they do all good, these are like real men. They're like grating the ground themselves and laying the cement and bringing in rock, and they're doing all, digging the hole for the septic tanks, and I mean they do all that stuff, wire, blah blah blah. But his big thing, he basically, I don't even know. I was gonna say he quotes Christmas Vacation, but all the whole summer long, we were at Walmart, and he picked up something. I go, here, I'll get that for you. He goes, get yourself something nice. And so all week long, my brother, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks, however long I was with him over the summer, every time I go, hey, you want another piece of bread? He goes, yeah, get yourself something nice too.
You know what we had like that, and I want to talk about Troy's question here. My buddy Jay, who used to play in the Turkey Bowl with us. Jay and I walked out of a liquor store one night. We were 22 or something, and I mean, this gorgeous girl walked by us all, and we were both thinking it. We were trying to get in the car before we said anything. And God bless him, this old black guy was walking. He was walking on the sidewalk as she came in too, and he makes eye contact with me and Joey, and he just goes, God damn, give a man a heart attack. He just kept walking.
Out of the blue.
I just wanted to high five him because I was like,
That
sir, no truer words have
guy
been
will never
spoken.
see him again. And he gave you a moment for life.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
he just get because again, I mean, she was beautiful, and all three men in the vicinity were they just saluted.
Yeah.
But that's Jay and I do. God damn, give a man a heart attack.
All right. How do y'all cook your turkeys?
All right. It's funny because my guy, Shane Myers, who's an insurance dude, give him a call. He's gonna show me, he wants to show me how to do the frying of the turkey because he's from Georgia or Alabama or something. He likes doing it. Yeah, look, I'd like to try fried turkey once because everyone tells me it's so good. I'd like to smoke it like you're gonna do, but bro, we got like bad weather coming in, and I don't want to use all my pellets. Here's my deal. Okay. All I've done is the oven baked turkey, Troy, but I'm going to smoke one sooner or later. You're brining yours tomorrow. Julia's going to brine yours tomorrow.
I've done the fried turkey up in Grand Lake one time. To me, the taste ain't worth the mess.
Okay.
And the oil and then the disposal, it was just a hot mess, literally. Turkey was fine, I liked it. But yeah, what I do is I brine it the night before. I'm not in there. It's the first time in 3 years that I've not been there to brine it. And it's funny, the first year you can buy brining kits and you can dry brine it or wet brine it. I usually wet brine it. I let it soak in a Home Depot 5-gallon bucket with tons of junk, citrus and apple cider and water, obviously, tons of salt and pepper, seasoning, different seasonings, onions, garlic, boom, 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 you name it, I put in there. And the first year I used a briny kit. Second year I went, and I'm bringing the ingredients and I'm going, why don't I pay $50 for this? I got all that stuff here. So now I kind of taken pride in the sense that I just, it's stuff you got mostly in your kitchen anyway, and I don't think you can mess it up. But I brined it, and I've never brined it more than probably 20 hours. They say they do it for about 24. It usually goes between 12 and 20, but depends also how, if your turkey's a little frozen, you can put it in that water and it'll thaw it out a little quicker. And then I'll get it out, and this year I stuff butter all through the skin, inside the skin. This year I'm going to actually whip the butter up a little bit with some chives and some salt and some different stuff, and then get up in the skin and inside. And then I throw a frickin' half stick at least of butter inside the cavity. Um, and then I salt and pepper the heck of it, maybe some seasoning salt. I had some Traeger poultry type stuff on top of it. And then I got a roaster with a metal grate. It sits on the grate, and I fill the pan up first with like apple cider, apple juice, cut some onions and apples in that, and then I'll stuff open an orange, squeeze it, and put it inside the turkey, and then some apples in the turkey, and some onions inside the turkey, and then I basically put it on that thing, and it only takes about 3.5 hours. Pop that out, put it on a plate or put it on another thing, and then put it in the oven for like 30 minutes. I'll tent it for about 30 minutes, and the last 3 years I've done it. In fact, the first year I did it 3 years ago, the warden decided, well, I don't trust you. So she cooked the turkey. We got done, and that smoked turkey was nothing left of the carcass. and that other turkey had about over half of it left because everybody's going, oh, because it was juicier. For 3 straight years. I'll probably jinx myself this year, but for 3 straight years, it's been the juiciest turkey I've ever cooked.
Oh, I want to smoke one bad. I just don't. The weather's going to be tough. So my problem is, uh, we're going to my family. We always go to my brother's house because the dogs are too much for his kids. I got the hyper big boxer, and they're just too little. And it's fine anyway. My sister in law is just too allergic. She's allergic to dogs, if you can believe it. So she just it's miserable for her. And she's the sweetest thing because she always tries to deal with it, but we're not going to make her deal with it. And then on Friday, I got to get up and do the CU game at 10 a.m. and I got a Mammoth game at 7:30 that night. And I don't have, so I don't have time to. I may try something Saturday. I may hit you up even
Well, you
Saturday.
know what, Joe,
I may just do
making,
some damn brisket by then, though. Once you've had the turkey, I may just do a brisket.
well, we talked about too. And I've done this too before. I'll smoke a ham for Christmas, and that basically kind of the same way. I don't brine it, but I cross cut the tops of it, and I put a lot of apple and juice, and I put the apple juice underneath the thing too while it's in the smoker. Put some brown sugar and some cinnamon on that thing, and smoke that thing up for a couple of hours. That was outstanding. So I am not a planner. I got a list. You'll love this. I got a list from my daughter's coming in from El Paso with the 2 kids, and they're driving into 22nd, 23rd, we're doing this, 24th, the public being, 23rd, Christmas here, 26th, and 20, and I'm like, I mean, I don't, and now she is married to a colonel in the army, so I'm guessing, that has been a learned behavior because that is not me. But I do have, I know I'll smoke a turkey for Christmas and a ham or smoke a ham for Christmas and a turkey for Thanksgiving. And you're right there. The Taylor wrote a while ago. You fried turkey, make sure you ain't on the news because them things you put that in, it slips, it gets into, grease pops out, hits that Bunsen burner. Man, you got flames.
Yeah, yeah, that's why my buddy Shane will do it, and I will watch. And then I don't know. I'm more into. I really just want to do more of the smoking, and also, do you ever do this? So Taylor says he's got a beer can turkey. I've heard of beer can chicken. Have you ever done a beer can turkey?
No. I had a buddy who used to do beer can turkey or chicken all the time, but I never did. But you can put a little beer on it. You can do everything. You can do whatever you want. I don't
There's a
even know if I
couple of
got
movies too
out.
from Jim says Home for the Holidays and Son-in-Law are two more of the Thanksgiving movies. I will tell you, you know what I always remember Thanksgiving for, and then we'll get to some sports. My first date ever in high school was Thanksgiving weekend. After Thanksgiving was over, I took the girl to, I think I told you, I took her to Home Alone. Didn't have a car. So my buddy drove, we double dated to Home Alone the opening weekend. It was in theaters. So I love that movie. But I remember I pulled up to this girl's house and I came from like a lower middle class family. I pulled up to this house in Arvada. I told you, dude, this thing was so big. I just remember I was like, oh, I felt like the Karate Kid when he goes up to the house in the original movie and just doesn't feel like he belongs there. I remember walking up. Heather Quigley, shout out Heather Quigley. Walk up to this house and I'm just like, I was telling my buddy too. I'm like, bro, I don't want to go up there. That house is too big. I think I made a mistake. And he's like, too late now. Get out of the car. We're gonna miss the damn movie. Go get her. So I ended up going up there and that's what I always remember Thanksgiving weekend for after. Real quick, when was
you
your
on more dates with Heather or just that one?
Yeah, Heather was a sweetheart. Heather, I don't know. I just got too intimidated. I think Heather was interested. I never really I don't know, dude. I just felt like the guy that I felt like the schmo, and I just was like, never mind. So like she was totally cool about it. We'd always talk at school and all that. I was like, never mind. I don't even have my own damn car. What am I doing here trying to date you? I'm in the wrong economic class. It was a me thing, not her. We've been friends forever.
You're like that. You're 4 or 5 guys that sat over in the special couch there in Animal House. Hey, come over and enjoy these new recruits.
Yeah, yeah, that could have been it too. All right, do you remember your first date? I might as well give you a chance. Did you ever have a holiday around? First date, or
No.
did you
Well,
do a lot of dating in high school, or were you too much the athlete?
no,
Okay.
I dated.
All right, good enough. Good enough.
I,
That's all I needed to know. All right, man. So the Broncos are in great position for playoffs. I'm going to kind of do a little speed round. Broncos in great position for the playoffs. What do you What do you think? I asked a question a while back. Do we trust this team? I got to tell you, I give Sean Payton credit. His team has not blown any game. That, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how great they are when it comes to the top end of the AFC because Baltimore spanked you, the Chargers gave you a hard time, stuff like that. But Sean Payton's teams don't really lose games they're not supposed to lose. And I got to give the coach
right.
credit for that because we've been watching this team lose a lot of games they should have won the last few years. So I give him credit for that. What do you think? They got it. Look, Cleveland's tougher than it appears. Indy, I think, is going to be, I think Indy could be tough, but I'm not sure I've got my mind around what that is yet. And then you got the Chargers. But if you get these next two, you're in prime position to get 10 wins and be in. Do you trust them?
Yeah. I'll say this, and I know DMAC gives me a hard time on our show. And why did you bought in already? Because the teams that you've beaten this year, there's only one team above 500. That's Atlanta at 6-5,
And
and
their defense is terrible.
And the records of all the teams that you have beaten are 25-52. And I said this early in the season, they're not a bottom dweller anymore. And let's be honest, they've been a bottom dweller for the most part for the last 5 of the last 8. Anyway, Vic Fangio had a good team in there that was competitive. But they've been basically a bottom dweller. So they're not that for sure. Now you're going to play some games. And listen, Cleveland was supposed to be a playoff team to start the season. And defensively, they're looking like it. And they took it to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's always a favorite. That's still on your schedule. Kansas City, if they can get that far and only have one loss, or even if they have 2 losses, they're not going to bench people that last game like I think a lot of people were hoping if they're going to have to play for that first seed, because that is a bye for you. And you know Kansas City wants that bye. Um, Cleveland and Indiana or teams, especially Cleveland at home, you got to win. I mean, that's a game you have to win. And we had Leggy on today, and he made a good point. Is Bo Nix wants to win Rookie of the Year. He's got 2 national games coming up on a Monday and a Thursday night when the whole league's going to be watching him. And what a great opportunity for him to showcase, yeah, this is real. This is legit. Let me see if I can go ahead and win this Rookie of the Year too, Offensive Rookie of the Year. But it'll be interesting. I think they're in for a good game this Monday.
Yeah. We'll
And let me
see.
no one's talked about yet, Stu. Who's quarterback of Cleveland right now?
I can't remember. Jameis Winston.
Crabby legs. Um, you don't think Jameis Winston wants to show Sean Payton who he played for and kind of got brought back up and people said, oh, maybe he can. You don't think Jameis Winston wants to show Sean Payton something?
Yeah, probably. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm under the impression they had a great look.
Yeah.
When did Jameis didn't go there? Did he go there this year? Maybe you're right.
Yeah,
Now I can't forget it. Now I can't forget it. Did he?
No, because remember the old Baltimore quarterback that we had for a year, Flacco was the guy that came in last year and played.
Right. So Jameis did sign with them this year. They could have had Jameis. You're right. They could have had Jameis this year.
And Jameis, the one year he played with Peyton, actually played pretty good. So, I and I'm not saying because he doesn't like the guy, but every time I played against a team, whether it was Atlanta or Detroit, and I love the coaches, I wanted to have a great game. I wanted to show them, So not that in the NFL that you need any more extra motivation, but I think he'll play. He looked good in the snow game against Cincinnati, so we'll see. They've had a little time off now too. Now,
Yeah. Well, that's just it. That was Cleveland had the Thursday night game. Basically, that's why Sean Payton said, and I respect the move right now. If you can get these 2 wins, allowing the Charger game to Thursday night is not going to hurt you, and it allows you the long period before Cincinnati. Then what we're basically Cleveland just got that right. Cincinnati was the team that was going to get the long time off, and then they basically pulled the flipperoo on them. So good for them. Good move by Sean Payton there. So
if 2 weeks, if you don't win these 2 weeks, that's going to put a heavy burden on that Thursday game because it'll probably be a must win, right? If you don't win these next 2 weeks. But one game at a time. Listen, they got a great opportunity. They've done things well. I like how one breath in Sean Payton's presser on Monday, I think it was Monday, that, all those pundits out there that say Bo Nix, blah, 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 couldn't do this. Finally said, yeah, we're starting to realize, Vele, we've held him back. And I'm like, well, dumbass, the pundits were saying you're supposed to play Vele earlier in the year too. And so when you're going to listen to him just once in a while.
right.
But Vele's playing great. Cortland Sutton, which we brought up on our show I brought up a week or so ago. Are you not going to think about starting to pay Cortland and bring him back? Or extend him or whatever you got to do. And I know the salary cap is still going to be an issue next year and everything else, but hey, Cortland Sutton and your boy Bo Nix has got a little connection going.
Yeah, they do, and it is interesting because they already did the weird contract with him. They created that extra money. He's got Cortland's got a $20 million cap hit next year. A $20 million cap hit.
I think it was that much.
According to Over the Cap, that's what it is because they did some funky things and they added avoidable year. I'm with you. They got to keep him around. He's the closest. He's the only thing Bo Nix really has to a security blanket. And I think Vele gets there ultimately too, but clearly Bo Nix loves Cortland over everybody else.
What do you do when Reynolds comes back?
Well, they've already done it. They waived Dulcich today. Or they waived Dulcich yesterday, got picked up by the Giants today. They cut Throckmorton, the awesome offensive line name. So let's see. Dulcich will get picked up. Drew Sanders takes Dulcich's spot, and Reynolds will take Throckmorton's spot. Now, I don't know. Look, man, are you going to not play little Jordan Humphrey as much? Are you not going to, keep playing Vele? You got to keep playing Vele, period.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton and Vele's got to have 99% of all your offensive snaps. And then, if you need a rest in there, now you got Reynolds and of course, they paid money to Reynolds. So, I don't know, but it's another weapon you're adding late in the season at a good time.
Oh, my God. All right, we've hit the big time here. Sorry. We got a bunch of weird porn bots jumping on the YouTube thing. I guess maybe we'll take it off YouTube a minute. I don't know what's going on with these comments. So cool, Carl. We've never had this happen on YouTube, and now here it is. Here we go. So I guess we'll see how this goes. But anyway, we're having to block people left and right tonight. I guess we've hit it finally, Scotty. We've never had to block anybody from this podcast. We've been doing the video thing for 6-7 months now. So anyway, all right, let's get to the Nuggets a little bit. I think the Broncos end up making the playoffs. I am nervous about Monday's game. I guess we'll see how it goes.
Is game the deciding factor, you think?
Well, I think dude, you can't, with you allowing them to move the Charger game to Thursday night and giving yourself a short week, you cannot afford to, you've got to beat these two teams you're better than, and you're better than, now look, I say that, man, Cleveland's defense is legit, but you got to beat Cleveland, you got to beat Indy. So, right?
And then at least one of the next three. You're all into this comment stuff.
Well, dude, it's just technically, I guess I could sue people for slander if you're going to put something that's on the internet, but I don't have a lawyer. So, um, anyway, the Nuggets real quick. Do you want to get into the Nuggets thing?
I don't care.
Michael Malone. I was surprised that everybody got sprayed by the criticism last night.
Yep.
He asked for Joker to, what do you think led to the "I need everybody to speak up" comment? Let's just get to the heart of it.
Well, it might be one of two things. I think he appreciates Russ, but it might be I'm tired of just hearing Russ. Now I think that sometimes this when somebody comes in so loud, your show for example, when you're just going off and loud, what does Nate do? Sits back and lets it go. And so I think that's what some other guys have done also. But no, they had a crappy game. You won an unbelievable game on Saturday against the Lakers, popped them, and then you decide to spend the night because you've got all the analytic people that are in the league now, the study sleep studies and stuff like that. It's amazing the league survived for 60 years before the sleep study guys got a hold of NBA teams and still were able to perform and play and actually fly commercial and not do all this stuff. Um, but it's Saturday night in Los Angeles. You just had a monster win and you're downtown. What are you going to do?
Right.
You know? And so I'm sure a lot of guys probably went out and had a good time. You didn't leave till like 10:30 the next day, 11 o'clock, or whatever it was, because I got in my car right as the game started at 2. So, you know, and then I'll tell you what, I've said this, I haven't said it out loud yet, but I'll say it with you out loud. Um, you've been through it and I've been through it. Guess who now's got to remember what it's like to get 3 hours sleep because you got a crying baby in the house.
No, I said it today, man. It's funny you'd bring that up. I said it today. Joker's got to get used to, one more child in the house, right? He's going to need a minute, right?
Yep. Yep. Because when the wife's doing something, you got busy here. You're gonna lose nap times. Unless you can find a way to sleep with the baby, you're gonna lose nap times. You're gonna get up. And knowing Joker, the kind of man he is, he's probably whether he's feeding the baby yet, if it's still breastfeeding or whatever, he's probably knowing him. He's still getting up with the baby and holding it, changing it, and giving it to mom or whatever. Um, dude, hey, when the whole city counts on you, and you're now playing against Carl Anthony Towns and Anthony Davis and all these cats, and you're working on 3-4 hours sleep. See, I think you have a good game tomorrow because guess what he is tonight in the
He's in a
hotel.
hotel and he's sleeping.
He's in the hotel.
And yeah,
In
hey,
fact, I'll bet bed right now, maybe FaceTime and whatever. But I bet when he goes to bed, I bet he's sleeping.
oh, I'm sure he is, and that's probably going to be his life on the road for a little bit. Is there anything to? Because the Avs suffered a tough loss last night too.
That was easy too to
Yeah,
explain.
that was
Dude,
Florida flu, right?
you've been in Florida for 4 days. You're 3-1 on a road trip, and it's the last day of the road trip. The hardest games on a road trip is the last day on the road and the first day at home. Those are your two hardest games.
All right, so all right, can you chalk some of this up to just that early part of the time of the year where there just isn't the urgency, or is that unfair? Is that too lazy
No, I
for
think
both
that's
teams? I'm talking both teams.
well. I think the Avs are a little different only because their lineup has been so wonky for
Yeah,
their first 18 games. I mean, it's who is, who isn't. Goaltender's not good. He is good. I mean, it's like this, and I think they're probably I would assume getting close to okay. Let's get this thing going. More bodies are back. But the Nuggets, I think it's fair. I think the Nuggets have played really kind of like, are you ready to kick this in already? Are you ready? Because you remember what happened last year. Joker goes to the All-Star game, and everybody talked about the text he sent to all of his teammates. It starts when I get home, and they went on a hell of a run. Remember, they after the All-Star break, they were a dominant team. Now the problem with that, it ended up wearing them out. So by the time the playoffs were over, because they grinded so hard, I think and you go the championship year, they grinded from the start, and basically they were what, they 12-11 after the All Star game. They shut her down after they beat Memphis in that one game, beat them pretty good, right? And they just went okay. And then they walked in the playoffs. There we go. Oh my God, they haven't been playing good. Yeah, they've been rested. And all of a sudden, boom, here's a championship. Um, I think it's tougher to grind late and then also be ready because your body naturally goes. Because the NBA gives everybody 4 or 5 days off unless you're in the play-in games. You're going to get 3 or 4 days off, 5 days off,
Yeah.
and, and after you've been grinding for that long, then you get 5 days off. Your body goes, oh, let's rest.
And you got to jack it back up to get everything going. So,
It's like the dude that's been working out in the yard in the summertime all summer, and he gets in back in the house about 4 o'clock. You're going to go to dinner at 6, so I'm just going to lay down here for a second. Next thing you know, at 5:45, your wife's shaking you, going, "What are you doing? Why are you still asleep?" You go, "Oh," and it's tough to get going again. So, no, I'm not worried about either of the team. I think they're all going to be fine and work out. You got too many good players, too many Hall of Fame players. To be honest with you, I think Murray's got to get in better shape. I still wonder. I said this today. I wonder if he's completely healthy. I've noticed a few things. Watched him on the bench and on the sideline. I think that knee is still bothersome. I'm not saying it's not healed, but I think it's bothersome. Um, and I think it's slowed him down from pre-injury. At least right now it is. So he's going to have to probably he's probably going to have to change workout. This is all my opinion. Listen, I ain't a physical therapist or anything, but to me it looks like okay, he's going to have to change what he's doing. Get in shape and just about going up, jacking up shots in the gym for a couple hours. We know he can do that, but he's probably going to have to retrain his lower body, get that leg more stable, probably even lose a little weight now, and get it going. Because I don't know if he's in as good a shape as I saw him 2 years ago.
well, he's going to have to be because, look, man, the clock's ticking. Bob Myers said it in post game, and I hate to be greedy about things, but when you have a player as great as Joker, you got to get more than one championship. And you know what? One of the guys that kind of taught me that was always John Elway, bro. I always thought one Super Bowl. I just want John to have one Super Bowl. But God, it felt good to get him too. You know what I'm saying? It just
Yeah.
guys like that are your everything. And John was everything for that team for most of his career till Terrell Davis really showed up. Man, if
Which is
TD shows up earlier, how many more?
because Elway can still play at the end, but that TD was and a legit running game was the spark he needed.
Well,
Now
it
he
wasn't
didn't.
all on him anymore.
Yeah.
So, anyway, he got
Rich,
looks on defense I'm sure he never saw prior.
what's that?
He was getting looks defensively. They were playing him defensively. Elway, I'm talking about. Like he never, when TD got there, all of a sudden they're having to stack the box. Really, you're going to give me one-on-one coverage with my receivers? Come on now.
And I've got McCaffrey, Smith, and Sharp.
And,
Okay.
and the best arm in the league.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah,
feel,
go
feel
ahead.
free. Feel free to do that.
Because even in
And
my late 30s, I could still throw it over your entire defense's head.
yeah, hey Sharp, we want to win this AFC Championship game on the road. Go down 7 yards and get open, and a bullet hits him right in the chest. Like, oh, I got to catch that one.
Hey, before we get off, our gal Danny asking the question: is it physical though, Scotty, or something else mental? I know that he can turn it around. I'm assuming we're talking about Jamal, but mental yips are way harder to work through. What do you think it is with Jamal?
Well, Payne Stewart, God rest his soul, before he won that legendary U.S. Open, remember, he had gone on a streak about 5 or 6 years of just really struggling. And he had changed golf companies and changed clubs and did all this. And then all of a sudden, he didn't forget how to play golf. he's still a Hall of Fame type golfer. He didn't forget how to play golf, but all of a sudden it does play in your head. And listen, I always said this when I played for regular guys, but I assume it works for stars too. It takes you 3 years before you realize, okay, I deserve to be here. And even me in my career, where I didn't score tons of points or do any of that stuff, didn't play tons of minutes. But by third or fourth year, I realized, you know what? Yeah, I'm as good as some of these guys getting headlines and writing stuff, and it changes your game. I think it could go just the opposite. Man, I'm not doing this anymore. This isn't working when I'm doing that. That step back, move to the side, Jamal, boom, drop a jumper on you, hit about 10 of them a game, 8 of them a game. You ain't seeing that. You might see one, and then you're seeing 4 misses. And it can be a physical limitation that eventually plays with your head. And, he just gets on a little streak, he'll be okay. But I think it starts physically. I tell you this. Remember Ed Green, our weather guy? And we were talking about working out. And after I retired from basketball, I didn't work out for 3 years. Because for the first 33 years of my life, I had to work out. Working out was a job, and it sounds like fun, but after a while, what do you mean? I haven't got my 2.5 mile jog in today, or I didn't lift, my 2 hour weight room session. And so when I retired, I didn't hit the weight room. So we were doing a show at the KOA, and we're talking, and he's running out, and Ed was always in good shape. But he goes, you know what I've always found out? The better shape I am, the quicker my reflexes. He said, I was in there the other day and I pulled an egg out and it fell, and I reached down and caught that thing before it even got to the ground. And he said, and I really feel, and I've done the same thing. And every time I do something like that, and it's like after I've been working out, oh man, my reflexes are a little bit faster than, and I'm 64. So I mean, like, it's not the reflexes of a 24-year-old. But it's amazing when I'm working out in the gym, A, my body feels better. B, my reflexes, everything is better. And so I think it could be all mental with Jamal, but it starts physical. Because I've always found out, I've not seen many athletes that get out and get back in the gym and rededicate, maybe even change up how he's working out, that it doesn't eventually affect the mental in a very positive way.
Well, I just hope he gets back to being himself, because he's a key figure. You paid him. You need him. It is what it is, man. You know what? At some point, we'll have to talk about at what point do you have to decide whether you're going to make trades or not, but I think we're about a month away from that. All right, my man, enjoy your night in Salt Lake City. I'm sure you will. And then when we reconvene, we'll have had the turkey.
All I'm doing is sitting up from what I'm doing here in about 15 minutes. It'll be like this.
Right on. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for sitting in with us, and appreciate all the people that actually commented for real.
I'm thankful for you, Andy, as a friend.
I am thankful for you as well, Scotty, and we are thankful for all the people that put up with us that seem to think we're somewhat interesting. So, all right, guys. Good night, all.